Now we're going to look at how do we use paragraphology to create our details within our paragraph. Before we start looking at the details we will add to our events, let's review what we have in our paragraph already. Our first index card is the introduction. We have event 1, event 2, event 3, and our conclusion. So now we have our introduction, our first event. We're going to be adding a detail to that first event, one that shows, not tells. The second event, we'll add a detail to show, not tell that second event. And then the third event that shows and a detail to show, not tell that third event. And then we still have our conclusion. This will be the order that our paragraph will be written. Now that you can see the outline of the note cards for our paragraph, I will show you how I found my details for each event in my writer's notebook. I have highlighted the details within my events in yellow. Let me read my first event right here and then the detail that goes along with it. As we held hands, we recited our vows. Detail. Inside my chest, my heart was pounding, but my grin was beaming. Notice I took that from up here. I couldn't quite fit it before I started my topic, but now I've introduced it again right after I have my first event. And you're able to do that. If you realize that you don't have a show, not tell detail, you can go ahead and add that within your notebook so that it matches your note card and your event, and that it really brings your writing to life. Let's look at number 2. After the vows, I knew it was time to exchange the rings, a promise to stay together forever. The detail that I had was actually right after it in my notebook, but once again, if I didn't have something there that really brought something to life, I could add it before I put out my note card. Detail. I was ready. I knew what was next. However, Andy had to start. Now let's look at my third event and the detail that goes along with it. Number 3. The pastor said, I give you this ring for Andy to repeat. No response. He tried again, I give you this ring. Now the next part really gives us a good idea as to how I looked at Andy, and it shows, not tells us, about what had happened during that time. It says, I gave Andy the look. You know that look where your eyes get big and you can't talk, but your eyes are saying, hello. With a startle, Andy finally repeated the pastor's words, and our vows were complete. In this case, my detail was more than one sentence because I really wanted to paint a picture, since this part of my events and underneath the wedding vows was the biggest part that I really wanted to illustrate for my reader. Here's what these details look like on my index cards. Here I have my first event on my first index card. And here's the detail transferred from my notebook to my blue index card for my first detail. Here's my second event. After the vows, I knew it was time to exchange rings. And here is my second detail that comes straight from my notebook to my blue index card. Here is my third event. And then here is my third detail that comes straight from my notebook onto my third detail organizer card. So as you begin to add your details to the events under your narrow topic, first, reread what you have on your index cards. Second, find your events in your notebook and see if you have details listed underneath them. If you don't, then you can add those before adding them to your index cards. So add them to your index cards would be the last thing that you would want to do. Be sure they are details that show, not tell, what you're trying to illustrate for your reader.